Mm. Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And let's get open for business. And thank you for joining this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning. So you want to be up with everything that is the Dallas Cowboys. And guys, thank you so much. I am humbled the fact that we got over 25,000 subscribers. It makes me want to work that much harder, especially now that we are on the cusp of training camp. Guys, 51 days, 8 hours, 26 minutes, and 24 seconds until the kickoff of the 2018 season. And I'm as excited as can be. Unfortunately, the website that I had with the blue Dallas Cowboy countdown clock, it's crashed. It's messed up. Won't show the time anymore. But we got another one, although I may work on getting a different one because that one's not as pretty. But here we are, the last weekend, the very last one, that we don't have football players out on the fields. I know they're not playing until the Hall of Fame game, that first weekend in August. But we have people out there practicing to talk about. That's right. 5 days from now, the team's going to jump on that big old jet airliner and head for Oxnard. And the Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys report will be talking about practice. Not a game now. We'll be talking about practice. But I can't wait. So this is the last weekend that we got to hold our breath. Thus far, things have been good. We haven't had any crazy off the field incidents like some of the people. We haven't had any rash injuries, where you're cutting your hand from slicing a bagel or trying to catch your cell phone around a pool and you miss and break your elbow or anything. And hopefully it'll stay that way, that we'll have everybody there healthy, ready to go. Ah, boy. The team we got is the team we got. I think we have a lot of potential regardless of what the talking heads have said. Now, one thing that's interesting, because there's so many different polls and statistics and everything else out there that they literally tell you one day your team is garbage and the next day they tell you your team is fantastic. One day they tell you that your quarterback is the worst in the league in this category, but then he's the best in the league in this one. So you feel like you're on a roller coaster ride with statistics. And sometimes statistics don't mean anything. Sometimes they're key. One key is taking the ball away. You can have a crappy defense, but if they can get a lot of takeaways, you're going to end up being successful. You can have a team that doesn't give up a lot of passing yards, but gets gutted on the run. So you say, hey, they're number one against the pass. Yeah, but they're 32nd against the run. And teams know all we got to do is run the ball with them, and we're going to win. So that's where sometimes some of the statistics don't mean as much. Then you have your ratings, which are a lot of times subjective. They'll use a few numbers and stats and stuff, but a lot of times it's subjective. And when you're dealing with ESPN, I'm afraid that ESPN has turned into clickbaiters more than anything else. Watching yesterday, Darren Woodson, they literally set him up. You had Dan Graziano do his 25 predictions, and one of his predictions, this is, of course, now come on now. He says he believes the Cowboys will win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, which, of course, gets all the Cowboy fans, yay, we're all happy. And then, of course, he says he thinks the Eagles are going to be one and done. So all the Eagle fans are like, boo. So you realize those two statements in there, out of the 25, are the two that everybody focused on. And that's the ones everybody is talking about. Why? Because it's rallying the troops. It's like clickbait. Not saying that they will or will not happen, but you got to understand that that is done so people react. He could say the Cleveland Browns are going to win the Super Bowl next 3 years, but people won't react to that the same way they will as the Cowboys, because people are going to go on both sides. There's no way the Cowboys will ever win, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, Cowboy fans go, yeah, did you hear what he said? So you can prove a lot with numbers, and like I said, almost always you hear about Cowboys in these polls. Now, Pro Football Focus, they have, of course, another one of their rankings, and they rank the Dallas Cowboys rush defense way in the bottom. Way in the bottom. I won't even go how far in the bottom they put them. And if we don't have Sean Lee, that actually could be true, because the difference of having Sean Lee versus having no Sean Lee was literally 100 yards more per game rushing, which is a major difference. Telling the story yesterday, my Rudy story, basically, about myself at JMU. Thanks for all the comments and stuff on there. Now you guys have something to ride me on. Brought back a whole lot of memories. And see, I played nose tackle, or nose guard at the time, because I lined up on the center. It would shade left or right, or into the gaps and things. And I remember, because I was about 220 pounds playing nose guard. And, of course, the center, God, why can't I remember his name, was about 255, 260. The thing that was interesting is what I could do with my speed. Speed kills in football. And depending on your defense, you have basically two philosophies. You have a read and react defense, where basically your job is to get your hands onto the offensive lineman's body and try and figure out where he's going and then fight pressure. Because if he's trying to hook you, then that means the play is going that way. So you want to go against that pressure. Or you end up having like a gap control defense, or a stunting defense, where it's you're responsible for a spot. In which case you say you've got the A gap. So you end up, boom, snapping the ball. You get into that gap and you're using your speed. And remembering, this is another one of those crazy stories. A JV game we had. Again, I'm used to playing against the first team, the second team offense, because I was on scout team, and having to get pounded by those guys all the time. But playing a JV game with smaller guys, I think it was Fork Union or something like that. I can't remember the school. But the coach let me shoot the gaps. And because of my speed and quickness, my first step, I was literally in the quarterback's hip pocket. It was crazy, because on one play, I shot the gap so fast that as the quarterback took the ball and was turning to run, I snapped it out of his hand. Swatted it out of his hand. Seriously. No joke. I kept doing that over and over and over again, and I actually got 3 sacks in a JV game, because it was about speed. My problem, of course, was when it was a running play and you got a double team. When you got the guard and the center both hitting on you, they tell you, drop the anchor, okay? Get down low, put your legs down, and just basically try and plug the hole, because that's where the ball's coming. But when you're small and lightweight, you get pushed out of there. That's my concern for our Cowboys defense. I talked about my friend Doug West, who was an incredible player. I think he would have been an NFL player, but he fell off the back of the pickup truck head first, and it killed him. Doug was 5'11" and about 310 pounds, that fire hydrant. And Doug West could plug up the middle, and he could get a push. The first 4 games at JMU in 1985, Doug literally put the quarterback, the opposition, out 4 games in a row. And that's my whole thing about that number one technique. Because with that push in the middle, with that immovable force, it changes the field. And when you control the middle of the field, you control the field. Especially against the run. Now, if we end up being the offense that I think we should be, the offense that is going to grind out the clock and continue to score on a regular basis, that will make teams more one-dimensional. They're going to be worried about the clock wrapping down. If you've got the offense, opening drive, it takes 10 minutes off the clock. the other team is going to try and hurry up and score because they're saying we're only going to get X number of possessions. If we don't score right now and they get the ball back and they have another 8-minute drive, we're getting close to the half. So teams will pass more against you, in which case having the faster defensive lineman comes to your advantage, because now you're all of a sudden throwing body after body that's quick. They can do, like I always talked about, my favorite move was the jab, step, and rip. And that works if you're fast, because you are getting the offensive lineman to step with you, that first step, and then you're coming back across the body, dip in the shoulder, and you're ripping past them, and you can use your speed to go. So my biggest concern is still the middle of our football field. And a lot will depend on what our offense does that will dictate how well that part does. So hopefully Malik Collins' foot will get together and stay together for the season. Hopefully Brian Price will be able to step up. Hopefully Deontay Jones will be able to help fill in that role, and so on, because that's going to be key. We do not want Philadelphia to be able to start running the ball at will, because once they start being able to run the ball, that opens up the playbook even more and makes it that much easier for the quarterback, because then you're putting 8 men in the box. We need that defensive line, that center, to make an impact. Guys, it's coming. It's coming fast and heavy, and I can't wait. We will be at training camp at Oxnard on August the 3rd. That's right, August the 3rd. We'll be there. Hopefully we'll be seeing some great friends of ours that you've seen on this channel as well. And we're going to be having a ball. We'll be covering the Dallas Cowboys as they prepare to start the 2018 season. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo, and thank you guys for watching the Joe Boo Sports Report. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, don't forget, tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll be live streaming. And I had a question from somebody, sent me an email, and I'll respond to the email directly. How you comment on those things. If you're doing it on your cell phone, when you pull it up live, you'll see the links for other videos. Just keep scrolling down, and finally you'll see comments. Click on that, and that'll open up the box so you can see all the comments, and then you can make your own as well. And of course, if you're on your desktop, just click on the live stream video, and you'll see where you can comment to the right of it. So as always, guys, have a great Friday, and I'll see you tonight.